Namaste to all. Welcome to our environmental awareness and health subject. Today we will know about the importance of alternative institutions like NGOs and activists towards the protection of environment. And we know to explain the role and necessity of education for people's participation in the development programs and discuss the methods of improving the deliverance capacities of NGOs and activists in ensuring development. Nowadays, it is very important to raise problems regarding environmental pollution. So there is a need of some group of people who identify and analyze the problem and fight for that problem. Such are called voluntaries or other agencies. Support for such initiatives came from various sections in the society. Many examples if you observe in the history, so many movements, social and cultural reform movements came. We gain many things like education, women empowerment, and rights for the poor people through movements only. Like that, there is a need of such movements which support our environment. And role of voluntary organizations, non-governmental organizations, there is a need to argue about the problems and to promote conservation of natural resources and protect endangered species. So today in our class, we will discuss about voluntary and other agencies and what is the importance of voluntary organizations and what are the movements taken place in the history, in the world and in our India, and what are the NGOs which are fighting for environmental protection and how they are giving awareness to the common people. So in our history, first we will go to our motherland, India. There is 4 types of voluntary organizations. If we categorize like that, 4 types of organizations are there. Firstly, one type, they are fighting for important needs of deprived sections of the population in such diverse areas of education, health, drinking water, etc. This type of organization early played a role of charity and welfare for the poor and destitutes. This is for education, health, and drinking. One type of organizations are working for this sector. And second type, the role was to awaken or organize the poor and marginalized to struggle for their rights and for express their perspectives. These organizations in recent years are being called social action groups. And the third type of voluntary organizations, they're promoting development interventions in the area of environment, deforestation, and income generation, irrigation, agriculture, etc. And a new form of organization which has emerged in respect of networking and providing support to grassroots. These type of organizations are ground level. They are working for environmental protection. It is linked with poverty also. And in this powerful movement, the scientists and NGO groups have played a major role in environmental movements from the early beginnings. So now we will discuss about the main important NGOs who has been working for environmental protection and giving awareness to the people. So I will tell one story. Some group of people, they traveled in a boat, fishing boat from Canada to express their opposition to the US nuclear weapon on a small Alaxan island in 70s. They are going and they raise the problem and they gave awareness to the people using the simple message, non-violent, direct action and maximum impact. This is a small group of activists into an influential international environmental organization. Now it became a multi-million-dollar budget. And this group of eight, then afterwards, the group will become 85 people. And afterwards, in 50 countries, these people are working. In 50 countries, so many millions of people are working for the organization. And that is nothing but a Greenpeace organization. This Greenpeace has grown to a small group and now it became a 50 countries and signed a protocol not to dig for oil, gas or any other minerals in South Pole in the next 50 years. They achieved very well in their aspects. And also they're well known for putting new issues of agenda such as the chloride industry as a major pollutant, the huge transfer of toxic waste in north or south. And also there are so many volunteers and they are giving awareness in the schools and also in the working places and other countries. They are doing well. And afterwards, next, Shaira Club. It was involved in several efforts to preserve parks. It is mainly working for wildlife sanctuaries, especially in expanding the area of Yosemite National Park in California. To explore, enjoy, and protect the wild places of the earth, to practice and promote the responsible use of the earth ecosystem and resources, to educate and enlist humanity to protect and restore the quality of the natural and human environment. So some they are particularly working for like this NGOs with the same breadth and capture of social space. However, to increase extent, national NGOs draw strength and association with their counterparts of other countries from the participation in the international programs and consultations. A global network information exchange is provided through the Environmental Liaison Center in Kenya. ELC has over 230 NGOs members groups, with the majority from developing countries, as in the contact with 7,000 others. They are all giving the awareness and they are raising questions and they are fighting for environmental protection. And what about our motherland, our India? What are the movements taken place in India? What are the important movements? Why? What are the reasons for that? So, two important incidents, two movements to enable Chipko movement and Bhopal gas tragedy. So, what was Chipko movement? Mr. Bahuguna enlightened the villages by conveying the importance of trees in environment, which checks the erosion of soil, causes rains, and provides pure air. The women of Advani village of Tehri Agarwal. The movement is taken place with Tehri Agarwal. The women of Advani in Tehri Agarwal tied to sacred thread around the trunks of trees and hugged the trees. Chipko means hugging. Hence it was called Chipko movement. Hug the movement. The main demand of the people is their protest was that the benefits of the forest should go to local people. The Chipko movement gathered momentum in 1978 when the women faced police firing and other tortures. Then the state chief minister, Nandan Bahuguna, set up a committee to look into the matter, which eventually ruled in favor of villages. This became a turning point in the history of eco-development struggle in the region of around the world. This is the greatness of tribal women who participated bravely in the movement. Now we are going Bhopal tragedy. We know well about that. Bhopal disaster tragedy was a chemical accident on the night of 3rd December 1984. So then, though the Bhopal tragedy still continued through delayed effect on the life, the incident itself has had a wide impact on people, governments, and industries. Actions concerning the environmental legislation and these Bhopal disaster and also Ganga action plan. Environmental awareness also spread due to certain initiation taken by the Bhopal scenario. River Ganga cleanup program also gave awareness. The last mentioned campaign was declared linked with the NGOs and was specially aimed at raising awareness levels of people through voluntary agencies of NGO sector. Yeah, movements against Tehri project in Uttar Pradesh and Sardar Sarovar project across River Narmada exemplified the grift and tenor of environment NGOs in India. Movement against the projects across River Narmada is being led by Narmada Bachao Andolan. Other important movements also there. I will tell you. Silent Valley Civilization Project in Kerala, Epico movement in Karnataka. Epico movement means it is against deforestation, and Baliapal movement in Orissa. And also in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, Citizens Against Pollution has been instrumental initiating movements against industrial pollution and nuclear power station, drought, desertification, and in Kerala also Kerala Sahasra Sahiti Parishad identified with people-oriented science education movement, and international events like the World Commission of Environment and Development and Earth Summit in Rio de Janeiro increases the pace of NGO activities in the sphere of environment. And so many state NGOs and NGOs working for so many problems in India, in developing country. So many number of NGOs are working for environment in India. Estimated to be 1469, but now it will increased. And we will, first of all, we must learn, and we have the awareness that we understand the words by our Jatipita Gandhiji, father of our nation. He always told that nature has enough for everybody's need, but not for everybody's greed. We must understand the word, and we must remember always this word, because Prakriti, the nature, gave us food or any other things for our survival. But because we are misusing the opportunities which are given by nature. So we must respect our nature, and we survive the environment, and we survive the natural resources, and we will give that to our new generations. So some of the NGOs working for study, research, and survey work, and they are giving awareness, environmental awareness through seminars, workshops, and they are providing documents and publication and clearing house facilities. Formation, they are forming groups and formation of groups and debates, and they are giving training sessions and awareness for awareness creation. And they give awareness through legal aid and counseling and environmental development. What are they are giving debate, they are raising questions and giving training for environmental development actions. So the largest session of NGOs is doing educating, awareness, generation, training, and research. And the smaller NGOs, they campaign against deforestation and pollution, construction of the large dams, etc. And there are the fewer NGOs working on local and regional areas. It is very also important. And then only that group of people, they know very well about environment and what are the changes occurring in the surroundings and how they protect the environment. So the working NGOs, how the situation is, means lack of scientific inputs and general empathy and indifference among government officials, local politicians, and people, and interference and resistance from vested interest groups and people, and funding that is often structured on technological and single intervention approaches. So if the NGOs, they want to do so many things, but there is a little bit of support of people or the financial support or the political pressure, these problems are raising for them. And government institutions and quasi-government and non-government institutions both participated in uh, promoting environmental education and environmental awareness to the people. There is a need of significance, sustained and continuous public education campaign to highlight the contribution of NGOs in recent years and to impress upon their primary and relevance. Finally, even though organized, formally structured voluntary organizations are more visible in the last 2 decades, it is important that individual citizen action is also sustained. So for that, education is needed to people. Public education on environmental is needed to develop the ability to access environmental situations and casual chains of relationships leading environmental damage. What we are doing, how our work and our works directly or indirectly affected the ecosystem, and how the balancing of ecosystem will disturb, and what are the problems facing by our works. This much of a responsibility needed. There is an international consequences that environmental education within existing school system can have an effect towards solving environmental problems, because the school children below 15 years, they know if we will teach them, they will remember it lifelong, and definitely they follow what we are telling. So this much of consciousness in the childhood needed. So there is giving a more awareness in the school children, then it will be better and solving some much of environmental problems. And now, how this population affecting the environment, we will discuss about this one. And in this, you define the term of population growth, population dynamics, and birth rates. And also we know to explain the interrelationship between population and development and describe the determinants of population dynamics. Population growth. Nowadays, developed countries blaming developing countries for this only, poverty and population growth. These are the environmental. They thought that these are the two main important problems in environmental pollution. Population growth is a manifestation of three underlying factors. First one is birth, then death, and movement of people, nothing but migration. These are referred by fertility, mortality, and migration. These are dealt in subject called demography, a branch of knowledge which focuses on the scientific study of population. The above three factors lead to the understanding of population of dynamic and growth. Population dynamic deals with the cause of effects of relationship of changing in number of individuals in population from time to time. Some demographers explain the behavior of populations as statistical aggregatives. Study of population dynamics is necessitated to determine how much of the natural resource can be exploited without damaging the resources to further use. So you know well about that interrelationship between population and development. These two are interrelating to each other. John Cadwell is an important international report stated that population remains the soft underbelly of development because its relationship to develop has not been sustained by empirical testing. Diverse policy perspectives are coexistence on population and its relationship to development. Population dynamics comparing of three major features, you know, just now I told you, fertility, mortality, and migration. This helps us to appreciating the rates of the growth or fall of the three indicators through which planning process is initiated. A macro analysis of the three indicators constitutes only a part of the population policy program of action or evolved to control population, and models are developed based on them. Here we must know about what is fertility. What is fertility? Fertility is a significant variable. Woman is an important agent in this, as human reproduction is possible through her only. So the capacity, the most common measure of fertility is, this is given in your book. Please check out that one. Fertility is an actual capacity of childbearing of a woman. So here, fecundity is also there. This is different from fertility. Means it is the maximum capacity of giving birth. It is known as fecundity. This is, see, in demography, this period is known as childbearing age, which is usually 13 to 15 to 45 to 49, monarch to menopause stage. In this lifespan of 30 to 35 years, even 30 to 35 years, every woman has biological maximum capacity of giving birth. This is known as fecundity. The actual capacity of childbearing is, that is nothing but fertility. So in your book, population dynamics determinants, the birth rate is CBR is equal to number of CBs in the year in 2000 by mid-year of population of that year. Then we will know the fertility measurement. So here, so here, four status of the fertility differentiates. So here, fertility differentials. It is a very important one. Differences in fertility levels are quite striking, which are, of course, natural or vast country with diverse cultures. So it is dependent by religion, caste, residence status, literacy level. Means the differential of fertility levels differ from religion, caste, residential status, literacy levels, and also occupational structures and important. These are the other important variables. And religion also plays more important. Religion plays an important role in population. You know very well about this if you observe in our country. This is our country's um, unity in diversity. So many cultures, so many religions, so many languages we are speaking. So here, religion plays an important role for the population. See, in our country, studies pointed out that Muslim women have higher number of living children than Hindu women. This is also main important point we recognized. And also caste. Among Hindus, forward castes and lower castes. See, we will observe that lower fertility, this forward caste have lower fertility than backward and scheduled castes. And also residential status. How the residential status impact this population. Means fertility levels are higher in rural areas than urban areas. Urbanization is generally held to be a good explanatory variable for low fertility. And also literacy. Literacy also plays an important role. If we observe in the states, if the 100% educated states, the population rate is low. As a point of order earlier, several studies clearly stated that fertility reduction and high female literacy. If the female literacy is high, so there is a lower fertility rate. Illiterate women have higher fertility than literates. Education of the husbands also affects fertility. In also some myths are there, so that's why they can't do operations. So there also the population. So the population growth is dependent not only one factor. So many factors are there. Fertility differences is by religion, by caste, residential status, and literacy, and also occupational status also there. If the population is non-agricultural, occupations have lower fertility than those engaged in agricultural occupation. These are the factors which are affecting population growth. According to the World Development Report, more than 1 billion people live in abject poverty. The next generation will see the world's population rise by 3.7 billion, even if progress in population growth decelerate. And also in your textbook, they gave us a state-wise distribution of major demographic indicators in India. You must observe that and how the rate will be in our, and this is the 2019 book. So here, in Andhra Pradesh, 33% female literacy and infant mortality 70% and 26.3% crude birth rate. And if we observed in Kerala, well-educated city, the female literacy rate is 86%. And so the infant mortality is 17%. So crude birth rate is 19% only. If we observe in the south states, the least one is crude birth rate is least one is in Kerala because it is literally state. So the difference, we can observe the difference about this. The current fertility rate in rural area of Telugu states 13% higher in urban areas, according to the National Family Health Survey conducted in May 95 by the Population Research Center, Andhra University. So in this lesson, we will know about the NGOs who are working and what are the movements taken place to raise the questions and how the movements will achieve our goals. And the population growth is what are the factors that influence the population growth in our India developing country, and what are the stage and also state-wise distribution of major demographical indicators in India. I know we will study about the impact analysis studies. What is in this lesson we will know about we will explain the environmental impact assessment and describe the prediction of impact and carry out environmental assessment and explain the legal and policy position regarding to impact assessment. A great number of people agree that all is not well with the relationship between humans and environment. Is it correct? Is there any balance between human works and environment? So there is a little bit of gap in the relationship between humans and environment. However, there are considerable differences in views as to what should be the first priorities and significantly the long-term purpose of different directions. Broadly, two directions are there. One would suggest that problems can be solved through application of technology and change in institutions. The other one is sees biological and physical limitations of the ecosystem and argue for the fundamental changes of the human and ecological relationships. However, both directions require information on patterns of natural resources management, possible only through an assessment of the impact. That is nothing but environmental impact assistance, EIA. It can be a powerful tool for controlling the processes, social and technological, from riding roughshod over the local ecology and ecosystems. It can be a source of information for better planning and design of developmental activities. These can help people in assisting their rights and choices over management of environment. And formal researchers, institutions like universities in India have not yet recognized the need of impact assessment studies of the society. And as such research this area is still in necessity. And you know about one story I will tell in Telugu. Kalidasa, you know about very well. Kalidasa, poet. Kalidasa, aina తనకి ఏమి రాకపోతే అందరూ తనని తిడుతుంటే తను వెళ్ళి అక్కడ దేవతని ప్రార్థిస్తారు, అమ్మవారిని. ఏంటి నేను ఇట్లా మందబుద్ధితో ఉన్నాను, అందరూ నన్ను ఇట్లా అంటున్నారు, అమాయకంగా ఉన్నానని ఆయన బాగా ప్రార్థిస్తాడు. ప్రార్థించినప్పుడు అమ్మవారు ప్రత్యక్షమై ఒక దాంట్లోనేమో ఆయనకి విద్యుక్తు అంటే చాలా బుద్ధిని తెలివిని ఉన్నటువంటి ఒక కప్పులో ఉంటుంది పాయసంలో, ఇంకో కప్పులోనేమో వాక్ చాతుర్యం ఉంటుంది. ఈ రెండిట్లో నీకు ఏది కావాలి అని అడుగుతుంది. అంటే ఆలోచించి కాళిదాస్ ఏం చేస్తాడంటే రెండు తినేసిస్తాడు. అంటే తనకి తెలివితేటలు విద్యుక్తుతో పాటు మాటకారితనం నేర్పరి కూడా కావాలనే ఉద్దేశంతో. అంటే రెండు. ఇలాగే ఇప్పుడు మనం ఏమనుకుంటున్నాం అంటే ప్రపంచంలో మోడర్న్ టెక్నాలజీతో డెవలప్మెంట్ కావాలి. ఎట్ ద సేమ్ టైం ఆ టెక్నాలజీ అనేది ఎన్వైరన్మెంట్ ని ఎఫెక్ట్ చేయకుండా, ఎన్వైరన్మెంట్ ని డిస్టర్బ్ చేయకుండా ఉండాలి. ఆ విధంగా ఉండడానికి మనం ఏం చేయాలి, ఏ విధంగా ఈ టెక్నాలజీ అనేది స్మార్ట్ వర్క్ అనేది జరుగుతుంది అంటే మనం డెవలప్ కావాలి టెక్నాలజీతో పాటు. ఆ టెక్నాలజీ ఏదైతే ఎన్వైరన్మెంట్ ని హార్మ్ చేస్తుందో అలా చేయకుండా ఆ టెక్నాలజీ ఉండాలి. ఇదే విషయంలో ఆలోచిస్తున్నారు మన సైంటిస్టులు అంతా. దట్స్ వై ఎన్వైరన్మెంటల్ ఇంపాక్ట్ అసెస్మెంట్ అనేది జరుగుతుంది. And one of the major concerns in that environment is getting destroyed, not only through resource exploitation and wastage generated by these resources utilizing process. So now we are thinking about this. Not only resources are being depleted, but also life supporting capacity of the environment and its ability to absorb wastes are getting destroyed. Increasing population, developing technology, and economic development have created awareness of environmental crisis and the need of achieving a balance with nature. At least we hope that development of new technologies, now we are thinking about that, and the scientists and people and all of the research fellows and who are the lovers of environment, they are all thinking about that. At least now it is hoped that development of new technologies with balanced benefits thus acquired against the existing benefits of ecology. Environmental management is now accepted in India, a major guiding factor for national development. Thus, the project in the sectors of irrigation, hydroelectricity, power, thermal, and nuclear power industries, ports and harbors, new township sector, etc., have to assess their impact on the environment and prepare environmental management plans before the government approves the project. In our nation conducting this program because of the protection of environment, it is ensured that the adverse effects of this India is a country, you know about that. It is a very unity in diversity in all aspects, physically, culturally, and socially. So India is a country of physical, natural, climatic, and cultural and linguistic diversity. Development based on utilization of the natural resources of the country with the aid of science and technology was essentially carried out for the past 4 decades. And here, poverty and environmental degradation are nothing but two factors of one challenge. We are facing this challenge in India. And also Indian growing population, urbanization have placed an enormous burdens of human settlements. Cities are expanded rapidly and Indian urban population is the 4th largest in the world. Now, yeah. And also green revolution. Green revolution replaced many traditional varieties of seeds that farmers have been using for centuries with a few high-yielding varieties chosen by agriculture scientists. This green revolution in agriculture, which utilizes high-yielding varieties of seeds and follows modern technology. And also thousands of aquaculture farms which have come to, and also the coastal and marine environment disturbed so much in India. So what happened? Thousands of aquaculture farms which have come up along coastal areas of Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu. The government supported for prawn seedling. So what happened? They to facilitate the mixture of sea and fresh water that provided the best involving pesticides, laden drains, and industrial effluents. So what happened? Intensive exploitation of groundwater required by the industry has depleted the level of these resources. So aquaculture farms which have came up along the coastal of Odisha and Andhra Pradesh which require plant seeds from the sea, have also caused enormous harm effect of and survival of marine life will be questioned. So these are some problems for poverty and the dams also. What happened in the large dams have major environmental effects. They cannot be mitigated. And multi-purposes project ensure local people to lose their lands, entire culture. Well, here are the some problems which are recognized. First one is this large dams. Multiple projects entail local people to lose their lands and entire culture, while the benefits of power and water are uninterrupted by the far of urban population. Increasing sanitary in the lands irrigated by the water of these dams is one of the major problem. And also in coastal marine habitat and green revolution, so many growing population and biological diversity of overexploitation, deforestation, and habitat destruction in major challenges in our country. Hydroelectric power stations have become a major source of forest destructions and adverse changes in riverine ecology, means aquatic ecology. To meet the energy needs of the both traditional and modern sectors in an environmentally challenging to our country. So these are the problems. And also industrial pollution in the countryside has polluted waterways and irrigation channels, thus entering into the food chain through fish and crops. This is a main problem because large dams and multi-purpose projects and growing population, hydroelectric power stations, and industrial pollution, marine pollution. These are the challenges we are facing. In the past 4 decades, several thousands of population had to leave their traditional homeland and villages. These displaced, mostly tribes, have lost continuum in their life and had degenerated into disputes. So here, deforestation and hydroelectric projects, dams, they became a problem to tribes. Environmental changes not only giving industrial pollution, but also it affects the human health. High risk groups, but also more general suits of diseases which are associated with the developed countries. Heart diseases, cancer, diabetic, obesity, dental caries, AIDS, and also you know well about the Nalgonda tragedy. In Nalgonda, the affected water, the people, little children also, they have the problems of calcium deficiency and fluoride effect. Economic growth is largely industrial growth, and industrial growth is largely carried out cities and towns. Therefore, the role of city and lifestyles cannot be overlooked in any consideration of environmental impact. Urbanization, which entails crowding and overload of physical senses, is expected to produce social pathological like stress, mental health, and breakdown and crime. However, there are certain very large cities which very low crime rates as in Japan. Influence of culture can be one way or the other. One major drawback of the cities is that they are dependent on inputs of food, water, and power and waste. Therefore, the city is ecologically difficult because it includes heavy demands for all types of resources and generated wastage, the disposal of which may create high levels of contamination of ecosystem. However, There are distinct advantages of urban life, since socially cities are ambivalent. Presently, a lot of discussion is considered around making cities sustainable, producing and consuming wastes. The environmental impact assessment started Silent Spring, Rachel Carson's Silent Spring. DDT spraying of agricultural crops affected, and it gave a most harmful effect and impact of environment and also people. Environmental impact assessment includes activity analysis, identifying the side effects of an action or process, and also analysis that also been branded to include the search for alternative and optimal solutions. So any development project has both negative and we know about that any developing projects have both negative and positive environmental impacts. Negative impact causes environmental degradations. So it is the responsibility of the planners and scientists and lovers of environment, means environmentalists, to document these impacts separately so that this can be identified and quantified, and attempts may be made to maximize the positive impacts and minimize negative impacts of better development with least environmental degradation. So environmental impact assessment and environmental management plan have been considered as important documents which can be utilized by scientists, planners, government agencies, and public to clarify, understand the environmental implications of the proposed projects with respect to overall development plan and take decisions in the interests of environment and national economy. It also helps environmental feasibilities of the proposed project. So the term environmental impact assessment and environmental impact statement were first used officially in National Environmental Policy Act of United States. It is clearly mentioned in your book. And what about socio-economic impact assessment? It is also includes questions regarding the type, duration, area, and distribution of impacts. That is, the analysis needs to ask the questions what to include over the period of time, over what area, and who will be afforded. Direct employment on a project will generate expenditure of the local services. There are, of course, many other dimensions or impacts besides the area discussed here, including adverse or beneficial, reversible and irreversible, quantitative and qualitative impact. What is environmental monitoring? The basic